Welcome back to the Orange and Black. My name is Sean Holloway, and this show's for Giants fans where we talk everything Giants using analytics, the eye test, common sense, and much, much more. Today, it has been 1 year since the Rafael Devers trade, so I thought it was fitting we should go over all the data, talk about his stats, where he was in Boston, what he was now as a Giant, where this trade stands 1 year away from it, and kind of see who won, who lost, and all that jazz. So let's just get right into it. Well, it has been 1 year since the trade. Now, at that time, on June 15th, 2025, the Giants were 41-31. They were 1 game back of the Dodgers for the division. Kyle Harrison was about to throw, he was warming up in the bullpen, ready to go for that day's start, and then the news broke. Everybody was excited. I was excited. We're like, oh my gosh, the Giants are trading for Rafael Devers, a top 20 bat in the league. Like, this dude is legit. The Giants are getting this guy. Holy cow. Like, whoa. Is major news. Then we saw Kyle Harrison was going. We're like, oh, it sucks to see him go, right? Because he was, the best lefty prospect in baseball at the time. He just couldn't quite figure it out in San Francisco. He couldn't get that. He didn't have a third pitch, and he had no control of his fastball. That was his 2 biggest cruxes. He's, since then has figured it out. James Tibbs going, the previous year's, first round pick. I was like, oh, that sucks for him to go as well. We just drafted him. He looked good. But hey, we're getting Rafael frickin' Devers? Hell yeah, I'll make that trade 10 out of 10 times. No problem. Sent over, got rid of Jordan Hicks, right? Because he was horrible as a Giant. Got rid of him, got rid of that contract. Wonderful. That's great. And then we traded Jose Bello over there, who really hasn't been great either. So it's like, look, the Giants, this is a steal. Right? Like, James Tibbs is probably the best of the bunch, unless Kyle Harrison figures it out. But hey, he's just a prospect. We'll take the proven commodity in Rafael Devers. We'll take on that contract. Hell yes. This is fantastic news. Well, since then, in the last 162 games, the Giants are 69-93. Almost 30 games below 500. Wow. That is horrible. That's not what I expected. It's not what I expected. I figured the Giants would be good with him. I figured the Giants' offense would be good with him, that he would be that dude. Well, he has not lived up to it. So now I do want to take the time to go over the stuff of what he was like in Boston. All right, in Boston, in his 8 years in Boston, he had a .279 batting average, a .859 OPS, good for a 125 OPS plus with a 21% strikeout rate. Now, he was also basically a 4-WAR guy, right? At least a 4-WAR guy. Some years he was at 6, some year, another year he was at 5, but he was on average a 4-WAR dude. Right, and the one thing that jumps out to me is that 21% strikeout rate. He struck out his fair share, right? He swings at everything. But 21%, that ain't bad. Now, as Giants fans, that's what we thought we were going to get. We were going to get that dude from Boston. Yeah, we understood that there was no green monster, that he likes to go the opposite way with power sometimes, right? And the hitting off the green monster was easy for him. And you can't do that in San Francisco, at Oracle Park, because obviously there's no green monster, right? It's not a ballpark where it's good to hit. But he also has that power that no ballpark can hold him. He can hit it to all parts of the ballpark. We have seen it either as a visitor or, now in his last, 162 games here at, in San Francisco as a Giant. But we thought we were going to get that guy from Boston. We didn't. We did not. Since the trade, he has for the last 162, a 235 batting average, a 762 OPS, a 112 OPS plus, and what stands out to me the most, a 30% strikeout rate. That is horrible. That's unacceptable. Now, the only way that is acceptable is if you're hitting bombs. If you're hitting a ton of bombs, if you're doing 40, 45, 50 home runs a year, sure, you can strike out 30% of the time because you're hitting a ton of home runs. Problem is, he's only hit 29 as a Giant. 29. That's not good. That's not good. That is well below where having a 30% strikeout rate is acceptable, right? Kyle Schwarber is home run or not, right? He doesn't really hit much of anything else other than home runs, to be honest. He strikes out a lot too. But again, Kyle Schwarber hits like 40 bombs a year. Then that's acceptable, right? So we thought we're going to get that 21% strikeout rate, that dude who's going to bat 279, have a 859 OPS. But instead, we got a dude who's hitting way worse, has lost pretty much all of that power. So the OPS is almost, 4 points, 104 points, or not 104, 96 points difference. Almost 100-point difference in OPS. And a 9% increase in strikeouts. Like, that's crazy. That's a lot. Like, offensively, he's not the same guy. We know this. We have seen it. Defensively at first base, he's been much better than I thought he was because he was horrible at third base. So him going to first base, like, well, maybe he can transition. Maybe he can be good. And he's been great at defensively as a, at least my expectations were kind of on the low side. But, he's been pretty good. Been pretty good at first base. He has a -1 DRS, -1 outs above average, and a -1 fielding run value. That's pretty good coming from third base where he was one of the worst defenders in baseball at third. So him being about league average is great. That is great. Like, in my opinion, that's great. And now this season for him has been, like, offensively has been a series of extremes. He's either can't hit the broadside of a barn or torching the ball. There's no in between. And it's really frustrating. So, like, in March and April, he had a 207 batting average for a 248 on base and a 289 slug for a 537 OPS. For a dude that's making almost $30 million a year, or 30, I think it's more than 30 million. He has like $240 million left on his contract or whatever. Whatever that math comes out to. But still, he's the highest paid player on the team. Highest paid player on the team, having a 537 OPS the first month of the year, not acceptable. Not acceptable. Sorry. He had a 50 OPS plus. A 50. That means he's 50% worse than the average player that first month of baseball. For a dude who's the highest paid player on the team, not acceptable. Sorry. He had 40 strikeouts and 121 at-bats. Now, people say, he starts off slow. I guess, compared to the rest of the months, yes, it's technically slower, but it's not like, he goes from being the worst hitter in baseball to being a top 20 all of a sudden. No, he's like about league average the first month, maybe a little bit below league average. But when you're 50%, like, that's absurd. Like, that is absurd. So, in May, he turned it on. He got hot in May. He batted .306 with a .359 on base and a .593 slug for a 949 OPS. Sorry, math is hard apparently. A 949 OPS. Good for a 165 OPS plus. Right there, I was like, great. That is great. Wonderful. Rafael Devers is back. He had a hot month of May. He's going to carry it over into June. He's back. This other Rafi we were waiting to see. We got him. He's back. Right, he had 33 strikeouts and 108 at-bats. Much better at strikeouts. Now, May ended. Now we're in June. At the time of this recording, it is June 15th. 1 year. In June, so the first 15 days of June, right, today's an off day, so technically the first 14 days of June, he's back to his March/April stats. He's batting 154 with a 267 on base, a 327 slug for a 594 OPS. Good for a 58 OPS plus with 20 strikeouts and 52 at-bats. He's back to his first month of the year. He can't hit the broadside of a barn. He's an automatic out right now. An automatic out. He's still striking out a ton. Right, he almost has a 50% strike. Was it a 40, or it's a high 30s. I think it's high 30s right now, if you, whatever that math is for 20 out of 52. But still, he's got way too many strikeouts. He's swinging at everything. Can't hit the fastball down the middle. Can't hit a fastball, period, outside of the month of May, right? In the month of May, he could hit anything. But March, April, June, just show him a fastball. He can't hit it. Can't hit it. Can't do anything. Throw it down the middle. It's a free out. Free strikes. You don't even have to challenge him. You don't have to, well, you can challenge him, obviously, but like, there's no fear with him. And so now you have this money, this ton of money on this dude who has been horrible for the Giants. He has not been anywhere close to what he was in Boston. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating as a fan because he was seen, like, I, at the time, loved the trade. I loved the trade. We all loved the trade. We thought it was a great trade. We're getting Rafael frickin' Devers. But now, we're left with a shell of a player that, as the reports are, like, the Giants are trying to trade him. They're trying to find a way to trade him, Adames, and Chapman, along with, obviously, Ariz and Ray are going to be gone because they're on expiring contracts. But they're trying to get rid of these contracts because these big, they're big three guys, the guys that were supposed to be part of the core, the part of the guys that are supposed to build around, the guys that are supposed to be the dudes, they're now trying to trade them. It's been a complete disaster. It's been a complete disaster with Rafael Devers. Offensively, he has not been anywhere close to justify that contract. And he's only going to get older. He's only going to get older. He's only going to get worse. He might show glimpses of him being good like he did in May. He might show those glimpses. But for the vast majority of the time, he's not. He's not going to do that. I know people say, oh, what's the hitting coach? Do you really think a hitting coach has that much sway on a dude who's been in the league for almost a decade? No. The younger guys, sure. Like Casey Schmidt, sure. Bryce Eldridge, sure. But not Rafael Devers. He knows how to hit. That's what he's done the entire league. Why would he all of a sudden become terrible because because of a different hitting coach? No. That was never going to be the case. Thank you for cleaning yourself, Zoe. Right on camera, so the entire world can see you. Thank you. This girl. Yeah. She's, yeah. Anyways. Oh, don't sneeze. All right. Anyways, let's get back on track. The whole Rafael Devers trade has been terrible. It has been, you look at Kyle Harrison, figured it out in Milwaukee. Right? He's been their second best pitcher. James Tibbs, has been phenomenal in the Dodgers AAA minor league system. He's in AAA. Phenomenal. Jose Bella's been terrible. Jordan Hicks has been terrible, but those two guys have been great. So if you had to go from like winners, like, and then like not so much, and then the losers, so like the middle ground. You have Dodgers or Milwaukee and Dodgers at the top. You have the Giants because, well, they got, at least got Devers, I guess. Then you got Boston, who is the losers because they got rid of Tibbs for 2 months of Dustin May, who was terrible, and they traded Kyle Harrison in the offseason for a guy who's been terrible for them, Caleb Durbin, who's been terrible for the Red Sox. So I guess Boston is in the worst position, obviously, but the Giants haven't been great. But yeah, so this whole debacle with Rafi Devers, he's not been the guy. I was excited for it. Now I'm massively disappointed. I'm just hoping that the Giants are able to move off of him at this point, or switch him over to DH, or kind of whatever they can do to limit his at-bats or limit his playing, or try to move off that contract as best as possible. I know that's out of all the guys that they're trying to move, he's the one that's the least likely because he is owed a ton of money on that contract. So that is unlikely. If you had to go through it, it'd be the next most unlikely would be Adames. Chapman be the most likely because the least amount of money. He's been great defensively. He's been on a heater, so his value is at an all-time high right now. But yeah, I'll leave it there though. Rafi Devers trade. The Giants have been almost 30 games under 500 since the trade. He's not been the same guy. He's an automatic out. A ton of money's worth left on that contract on a ton of time. He is effectively blocks Bryce Eldridge at first base, so Bryce is stuck DHing, which has been great. He's been great, don't get me wrong, but I like to see him play more in the field. So yeah, I don't know. It's been a disaster for the Giants. I understand the move at the time. The offense was struggling, but they were still winning. I understand the move. I would have done that same trade at that time. I would have done the same trade. But now looking at where the Giants have been, it has not been great. It has not been great. It's a very sad time to be a Giants fan right now. But I'm going to leave it there, though, because I don't want to make this longer than I have to, because I can go on this for an hour. I have a lot of opinions on this. But I want to keep this video kind of short. But I'm just going to end it here. If you like this content and you want to help support this channel, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and share this with everybody that you know. If you want to leave a comment, please do so. I'd love to hear your thoughts of what you think the Giants should do. I would love to hear from you. I would love to know your opinion. We can have a conversation. Don't forget to follow me on social media, on X and Instagram at orange_blackpod. And with that, I'll leave it there. I'll see you on the next one. Go Giants.